Hello everybody, welcome back to Markers and Monsters. As always, I'm your humble host, Colin, and today it's the Call of Cthulhu. Oh, well, you guys know what that means. There can be no doubt we're talking about Cthulhu, greatest of the great old ones, and pretty much if you're thinking H.P. Lovecraft, you think Cthulhu. Most of the time, at any rate. So as you can see here, I'm just kind of drawing in this Cthulhu rising up out of R'lyeh, or wherever he might be in this particular drawing, and then I'm putting in some cultists down there, like worshipping, and they're super excited. Cthulhu's rising up. So at this point in my life, as an artist, I have done Cthulhu a lot. He's always a popular subject. And he's one of my favorites, too. He's a lot of fun to draw. In fact, the very first episode of Markers and Monsters that I did was on Cthulhu, more of a portrait. This gives you a little bit more of the whole body. Now, in that episode, I talked a bit about, the Cthulhu mythos as a whole and stuff like that. Now, here I'm refilling my ink. I was coloring in Cthulhu green and ran out of ink, so that's what I'm doing on the screen now. Just FYI. But anyway, so first episode was all about Cthulhu, and he's one that I've continued to draw since. There's been plenty of other drawings that I haven't filmed where I'm drawing Cthulhu or in various doing things, usually just rising up and looking menacing. Now, the Cthulhu mythos, I'm a big fan of the H.P. Lovecraft writings. At this point, I have read, I believe, every piece of fiction that he's written, and I'm kind of working on, he was a prolific letter writer, and he wrote to Robert E. Howard, creator of Conan, so you can get those letters in various forms, and I've read a couple of them, and it's, interesting, but, I like reading fiction a lot, so, but yeah, at this point, I've read every bit by H.P. Lovecraft, and Cthulhu only appears in one story, but it's a really good one, The Call of Cthulhu. Really, with the Cthulhu mythos, during his time, H.P. Lovecraft wrote these stories, and they were somewhat connected by, they'll mention the Necronomicon, or they'll mention another book or something like that, Cultus des Ghouls, or whatever, in these stories, and that kind of connects them, but there's no real recurring characters, and even for the most part, a lot of the monsters, Cthulhu's only mentioned in the one story, The Call of Cthulhu. I want to say he's mentioned in one other by Lovecraft, just in passing, but that's about it. Really what kind of codifies the Cthulhu mythos, as it's called now, would be the stories that were led up by August Derleth, who was a big fan of H.P. Lovecraft's, and he started writing these kind of mythos type stories in the 40s after Lovecraft had died. And the whole idea of the mythos of these interconnected great old ones and elder gods and things like that really come from the, Derleth's writing and others who were writing in that August Derleth style. So that's the next thing I'm going to be checking out in terms of mythos type stuff. I like reading about that. Cthulhu is, and the whole Cthulhu mythos really, has such a profound impact on pop culture. It's just really amazing that these stories that weren't super popular in Lovecraft's time really have taken off and struck a nerve with people, especially now. You can get Cthulhu pretty much anything. You thought there was a lot of pumpkin spice stuff out there? No, there's a lot of Cthulhu flavored stuff out there. You can get action figures, you can get movies, you can get video games and board games and card games and plush toys and keychains, anything you want, Cthulhu's on it or about it. And you know what, I think that's really kind of cool. I dig it, definitely. As a fan of the mythos and that, it's kind of neat to see. And a lot of times, people don't, I'm going to say, really understand, kind of what the Cthulhu mythos is going for, the idea of this cosmic horror and this dread that's just, there's these things out there in the world that basically render mankind completely insignificant, and there's nothing you can do to fight it or stop it or anything like that. A lot of people don't get that. They just think like Cthulhu has a great look to him, and that's totally fine. I'm down with that. A lot of games and stuff, you fight Cthulhu-style monsters and stuff like that, and that's really cool. That's really neat. But you shouldn't be able to fight these things. They should come up, and basically, if Cthulhu rises, then humanity is we're done for. And that's all there is to it. But I could go on and on about this, but let's wrap up this drawing here and put in just a couple of highlights in the name. Let's look at the scan. Yeah, what do you guys think? I think this turned out pretty good. Like I said, I've drawn Cthulhu a lot, and this one turned out to be really good. I could talk about Cthulhu all day, so if you guys want to chat or anything like that, please let me know. Shoot me a line. Comment, like, subscribe, share this video around, whatever you want. That's it for me. We'll see you guys tomorrow for another great episode of Markers and Monsters.